Okay, I wanted to quickly go over the restoration of this antique dresser. It's like 118 years old. It had a lot of things wrong with it. There's paint splatters, missing molding. It was just in really rough shape. My client didn't mind if it wasn't perfect, but, I was going to do the best that I could. So these are all of the problem areas that I had to work on. First, I used a syringe with some glue and filled in where some bubbling had happened on the top and put some weights on there. I stripped the entire piece with citrus strip, drawers, the dresser, all of it. That took probably the longest, just because there's a lot of detailed sanding. I hand sanded the entire thing because I didn't want to burn through the veneer. The piece was covered in veneer. So here I am working on the drawers, and I had to be really careful too because of the veneer. I didn't want to sand it so that you could see it when I was all done, and that was a little bit of a challenge as well. The top of the dresser was a bit of a mess. I had a TikTok friend suggest that I do take an artist's brush and paint the wood grain to help hide the watermark, and then when it came to staining, she suggested thinning out the stain with a little bit of mineral spirits and using that on the circle part, and then using the gel stain on the outside of the circle part. And I think this helped hide it. The top ended up not being perfect. There was still some bubbling that I missed. It was kind of hard to see when I was working on it. And I'm not 100% sure that some bubbling didn't happen when I put the gel stain on, like more bubbling. But it turned out better than it was, and it's not as noticeable, nearly as noticeable. So I think my client's going to be pretty happy with that. I do go into, I borrowed my own TikTok video to show how I fixed this molding. I ended up cleaning off the old wood and sanding it down. There you can see that. I ended up taking amazing putty and making a mold. I had a dresser that had the same spot that was not messed up. So I made a molding, and you mix up the putty 1-to-1 parts and you let it dry. Then I took casting resin and poured my mold, got it out of there, trimmed it up, sanded it down. At that point I should have painted it, but I didn't. I should have. I ended up using some darker brown paint, and then you glue it to the drawer, and I used a brad nailer as well, and that's how that came out. The circular trim molding that was missing, I ended up buying dowel rods and sanding them down to go on the dresser, and this is how it turned out in the end. You can still kind of tell, but you wouldn't maybe if you didn't know it was there. It turned out really pretty. It looks a whole lot better than it did before. This is an heirloom for my client, and they just wanted it to be better. This is part of a bedroom set that they're having me work on. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, and yeah, thanks so much.